One of the greatest things with working with Google Workspace is the ability to work with other people on the same project. Now, in this particular video, I'm going to try to demonstrate that with some spreadsheets. So we'll have two imaginary characters, Olivia, and we'll have Kyle. Now, right here, we're going to start with Olivia. See the O right here. So Olivia is going to start a new spreadsheet. So she's logged into her Google account. She's in docs.google.com under spreadsheets, or you can just search for Google Sheets. And then she's going to start a blank spreadsheet. So I'm going to click plus. Let's zoom in with Command plus a little bit, or Control plus. So we're going to start by renaming the spreadsheet. So Olivia is going to start by entering some data in the spreadsheet. So once the data is entered, she's going to go ahead and add some formatting to this. And at this point, she knows she doesn't know how to do any formulas. So she heard about Kyle, and Kyle knows how to do formulas. So what she's going to do at this point, she's going to share this spreadsheet with Kyle. So click on share. And right here, we're going to type Kyle's email. So setting Kyle as editor will allow Kyle to actually make changes to the spreadsheet. That's exactly what we need. And then there's this notification that's going to be sent to Kyle once this is shared. And then we can add a message so that Kyle knows what this is all about. Hit send. Kyle opens his email. See, we have this new email, which is that notification. So if we go to that notification, it's going to say that message right here, and it gives a link to that particular spreadsheet. So that spreadsheet we can access by just clicking on open, but it will also be available on Google Drive. So if Kyle were to go here, go to Drive, right here, if we go under shared with me, we'll see that same worksheet shows up here under shared files. Now we'll use the easy way. We'll just go back here and click open. And we'll see right now, as Kyle gets to the spreadsheet, right here, we can see that Olivia is currently in that spreadsheet too. And at the same time, with the same color for Olivia, see, we can see this little box that shows Olivia too. So it shows that Olivia is currently in the cell D2, and she's basically doing something. So if we go back to Olivia's side, just to take a look, you'll see that, in fact, she's in the cell. This is the active cell. And this red one, see right here, that shows Kyle. And you can see if I roll over that red, it says that Kyle is right here in this cell. So now let's put them both on two sides. So on this side, we have Kyle. And he's going to start working on these formulas. He's going to try to get the total for this. And we're going to start writing some formulas. So we'll do equals, we'll click on this, and then we'll multiply it by this, and then hit enter, and then autofill that down. And then apply some sort of formatting for all of these. And you can see as Kyle is making these changes on his side, those same changes will show up for Olivia pretty much immediately. And that happens both ways, right? So we can go here for Olivia, and Olivia can also do some changes. So maybe just format this total to look the same as all the other ones. And then she'll add some totals down here. And she wants to ask Kyle to add the total right next to it. So what she's going to do, she's going to right click on the cell, and right in that cell is going to have this comment. So we'll go under comments. And since this needs to be directed to Kyle, we're going to start with this @ sign and then start typing Kyle's email. So there it is. It showed up. So we're going to use that. So we're going to assign this to Kyle as a task. we're going to say, can you please add the total here? So there we go. You can see now that shows up as a comment here, and it's now assigned to Kyle. Now on Kyle's side, if we go here, we can see that note here, see, yellow icon here. And if we click on it, it says assigned to you. And it says, can you add the total here? Okay, so Kyle is gonna go in, right in the cell, and just do the sum. And since the work is done at this point, we want to just make sure that this is marked as done. So we'll go here and say done, reply to it. But saying done is not going to mark it as done. So to finish this, Kyle is going to actually click on this little checkbox to mark it as done and hide the discussion. Now that's done. And you can see how that note here is gone. And that whole thing is resolved on both sides. Now at this point, Kyle is done working on this, so he's going to close and do other things. Now Olivia is going to keep working on this, so she knows she needs to organize a few more of these things. So she takes this, she makes a copy of it, right-click copy or Control-C, Command-C, and then goes here, Control-V or Command-V to paste. Maybe paste a couple of more here and here. Resize this column to make sure it fits. Maybe we'll delete a couple of columns here just to make it look a little better organized. And she's going to make some changes to all of these. Now Olivia realizes that she needs a summary for this whole thing. So she's going to create a new tab here, double click, call it summary. And we have 4 meetings. So she's going to need to ask Kyle to complete these when he has time. So right click on a cell, go to comment. And here again, we'll start by referring to Kyle. So again, assign it to Kyle. Click assign. As soon as we do that, again, that little yellow thing shows up. Another thing I want you to see is that we also have this little 1 that shows that we have a comment here. Now let's again go and see what happens from the other side. So now that we're here, let's open Google Drive from this side. Now Kyle is in his Google Drive and he wants to know if anybody in the company assigned something for him to do. So the way we can find out, we can go on top here under this search, under advanced options, and then go to this follow-up, and then search for action items only. Hit search, and as you can see, that sheet showed up in the results. So we'll click on that. Now you can see here that there is 1 here on this summary. So he's going to go to that summary, zoom in, there's that little note. So it looks pretty straightforward what needs to be done. He's going to make a few formulas. So let's make this equal to the total from this meeting. And then all of a sudden he realizes he doesn't know which one is 1, which one is 2, which one is 3, and which one is 4. So we need to follow up here. So now Olivia logs into her spreadsheet. She wants to see what's happening here. So she's going to go here on top. There's this comment history. And you can see we have the summary worksheet B6 cell, which is the cell that she assigned for Kyle. And she can see here that Kyle doesn't know which one is which. So she's going to quickly take care of that. Command C, Command V, Command V. So Kyle is back to the spreadsheet. Again, we can see that whole discussion here. So he's going to make those formulas. And finally get the total for the whole thing. And since this is done, he's going to mark this done. So you can see that 1 over here is gone because that's been taken care of. Now I want to show you another thing. If I go back as Kyle to Google Drive and go to that same search right here under Advanced, go under Follow Up and do Action Items and hit Search, that spreadsheet no longer shows up here because that assignment has been completed. Now Kyle is logged in here, Olivia is logged in here, and Olivia works in a spreadsheet, and accidentally she just goes in one of these cells and then just hits a key and overwrites one of the formulas. Now Kyle looks at that spreadsheet and he realizes that Olivia cannot be trusted. So he decides to protect the range. So he goes under equals and goes to meetings and recreates the formula. And for this range, he's going to set some protections. So after selecting this, right click, protect range, and give this a description, set permissions. And then he realizes that he can't really protect it from Olivia because Olivia owns that spreadsheet. And the reason she owns that spreadsheet is because she created that spreadsheet initially. So whoever creates the spreadsheet will become the owner of that spreadsheet. So the best he can do, just show a warning so that when she tries to make some sort of changes, it will hopefully prevent that from happening. So hit done. There we go. So now at this point, if Olivia goes back and accidentally tries to overwrite one of the formulas, she's going to get this message and hopefully she's going to hit cancel because that shouldn't be changed. And then she realizes there is a feature that she can use to protect other people from changing what's in her sheet. So maybe she should protect this from Kyle. She's the owner, so for her, that should not be a problem. So she could just select this entire area, right click, and do protect range. Set permissions, hit OK. And we're going to make sure that we're going to remove Kyle from the list of people who should be able to edit this. Or if it should be just her, this could also be changed only you. And hit done. So changes are saved. So at this point, if Kyle goes back here and tries to do something, it's going to say that he's not allowed to do this. He should contact spreadsheet owner to remove the protection. So Kyle needs a spreadsheet similar to this. He wants to have a copy of all of this, but he cannot change this part because it was protected and Olivia is the owner, and now they don't have a very good relationship because they're fighting each other. So he goes under File and makes a copy and names this whatever he wants to call it. He's not going to share it with the same people because he doesn't want to share this with Olivia, and just press OK. And what's going to happen? Google Sheets is going to create another copy of the same spreadsheet, but in this spreadsheet, Kyle is the owner, so he should be able to do whatever he wants in all of those cells. Now, he's still going to get the warning, but he should be able to just press OK. Or if necessary, he could just select any range, go under right click and protect range, and basically see if he wants to remove any of these protections. Now we can go here, take the first one and delete that, and then take the second protected range, delete that too, and now everything is unprotected. He can do whatever he wants. So as soon as Olivia finds out that Kyle made a copy of her spreadsheet, she decides to kick him out of her spreadsheet. So she's going to go to the spreadsheet, go to share, and there is Kyle. So also pay attention that you can make that person the owner of the spreadsheet. She definitely doesn't want to do that. She's going to hit remove, hit save, and now Kyle shouldn't have access to that particular spreadsheet. So if Kyle goes back to his Google Drive and he goes to shared with me, you'll see that that file no longer shows up here because it's no longer shared. But he should have a copy of the file he copied under my drive, which is right here. Now, one thing I want to note is that all those comments that we do in our spreadsheets and assignments that we do, sooner or later will generate some sort of email notifications. So if we go back to Gmails of both people, in this case for Kyle, you can see that as Olivia did some assignments for Kyle, they all will kind of show up here as an email. These usually don't show up right away. They could take a little bit of time, but eventually they will generate an email. So even if you didn't go to your Google Drive and search for anything that is assigned to you, like action items, you will still get a notification in your emails and be able to follow up with that. So the final thing I want to talk about in this video is when you share, you can give people different levels of permission. When I was starting this, I assigned Kyle to be an editor. Editor will be able to make changes to the spreadsheet. Viewer, if we assign it as a viewer, Kyle will be able to view the spreadsheet, but he's not going to be able to make any changes. He's also not going to be able to make any comments. If I assign now Kyle back as a viewer, hit send. Now we can go back. See, that was shared again. We hit open. Now, Kyle is a viewer, meaning that if he tries to do anything, see, everything is locked. You are still able to make a copy of the spreadsheet for yourself, and then you are the owner and you can do things. He's also not going to be able to write any notes or comments. So if he goes to any of these cells, right clicks, see, there's no commenting option. So if Olivia wanted Kyle to be able to add some comments or notes, but not be able to change anything in the spreadsheet, she could go back here under share and change Kyle's permission to the second level and save. So now if we go back here, we will have to refresh this for Kyle. So see, it says comment only. So at this point, he's still not going to be able to make any changes. If I type, hit delete, nothing happens, but he should be able to right click and comment. And those should be visible here. And finally, when you do sharing, you also have some settings here you can change. So right here, if I go under settings, see there are two options here. One of them is that editors can change permissions and share with other people, basically. So if you didn't want Kyle to be able to add more people once you have him as an editor, you probably would want this unchecked. And then the second one is this. We can also disable download, print, and copy of the spreadsheet. So if we go ahead and uncheck this box too, let's hit done. So now if we go to this side and refresh this, you'll see that when I go under file, this option to make a copy is no longer available, and also download and print. So hopefully that gives you some idea how this communication works between different people who work in Google Sheets. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.